the clutch off in an effort to get this on the stand. And the clutch looks, I think, really good. Not that I've looked at many clutches before, but I think this friction material here, I think it's called friction, well, it is friction material here, but all of this kind of bronzy stuff in, I imagine if it was a well-worn clutch, all of that would be gone. And it just looks quite new. Both sides look quite spiffy, I think. Well, I suppose it's done when it gets down to these like wear marks here, when they're starting to get worn off, that's when it's done. Maybe one of these two, which I think it looks all right. Interested in comments on whether that looks pretty good or not. And then just getting the flywheel off here. So I just loosened a couple of them, just bolt to hold the flywheel, and then loosened a few of them off already, and they're coming out all right, easy enough. Then we'll get that off, and then I need to kind of find or make up some bolts or whatever to go into the bell housing mountings, because they seem to be the best bolts. Because this side there's only one here and nothing else up there, so that's a bit useless. But there's a load of them around here. So I've got this engine on the stand, as you can see. This is a SGS 680 kilogram stand, I think. I've seen on the group, TVR Tuscan group, that the 450 kilogram version of this stand, the engine it's too long and too tall, and so it's just not an effective engine stand. This comes down to the bottom, but this one seems strong enough. This has been on it for a good week or two now, so now we're going to strip all this off, the other side as well, so that we can get this to Dom at TVR Power, so that he can just do just a tiny bit of checking to check it's all right. Basically, he's not going to rebuild it. It's already been rebuilt not long ago, and it looks in good shape. So he's just going to check it basically, and also maybe give it a custom map into the ECU as well. So that should release a little bit more low down torque. I don't feel the need for lots more power in this vehicle. It's already quite fast. So there's no need to go crazy and do 4.3 conversions or 4.5 conversions. So that's what we're going to do now, strip off all these extraneous bits and try and make sure I remember where everything goes, and then we'll get it to Dom, and then we can start the chassis rebuild. All right, cool. So this was quite an effort. It's a lot of bolts. Ugh. Good for it to come off though. These throttle bodies need a bit of refurb, I think. I mean, it's not long since a rebuild, so it should be all right. But I mean, they just look like they could do with being cleaned up and serviced a little bit. And we'll be away. So with those off, all powers performance labelled, and the mask goes off so that nothing gets in the engine. And then we'll carry on the other side of the engine. Trying to avoid having this engine rebuilt. But I'm getting closer and closer. I mean, the state of these Allens on the timing cover I'm not very happy with. Quite a few of the throttle body ones were the same. And then, down here, that's rusty. This, this is not looking too great. All of them down here aren't looking great. And then the HT leads that I just pulled out, because I hadn't needed to pull them out till now, because I was going to install the engine. Look at the state of that one. There's two of them like that. That's number 6. So 6 is not great. Then a different type of problem. Not broken at the top, which is probably a bit easier, but broken at the bottom, which I'm not very happy about that, because all these bits can obviously drop down the spark plug hole as you pull them out, so that's not looking too pretty. Number 5. Of course, the camera doesn't want to focus properly on that. Whatever. So 5. Good job on repainting, isn't it? So 5 and 6 we weren't happy with because of the top and the middle. Here's another one. This one's this one's a double bubble. Number 3. It's got both problems, so that's not looking pretty. Number 4 is okay. Leave you down there. Number 1 is okay. As is number 2. So it seems to be that bank, it's inline 6 rod, but the these 3 at the end that aren't so pretty. So maybe I do need to replace all of them. But yeah, I'm not happy about this rust. I mean, obviously I can replace those just as they are, but I mean, I don't know. Anyway, we continue. So I mean, this side of the engine is nearly bare. The only thing I wanted to get off was a bit more of this. That seems a bit tricky. I've got these out, they're no worries. And I know that'll slide that way, and then that pulley will come off. And then that shaft, called Scott, won't come out until if I took the time cover off. I don't want to do that. So, but I do just want to leave a bare shaft there for powers, if possible. I was going to leave these sensors in. Oh no, I've taken that one, but this sensor and this one, a few others. But then I've got this side of the engine. So instead of just kind of finishing that little shaft thing off, I'm just going to go to this side because I want to make the most progress on this. Quick spin of the engine here, and then I'll just show you the method by which I was taking off all these bolts of the exhaust manifold. It was quite tricky, but basically I used a standard kind of Allen key, nothing fancy at all, and then the end of a kind of jack handle. You see that red thing that's hanging there against the engine stand. So get the Allen key in position, make sure it's really well seated, dig out the bolts if needed, and then just get that for the leverage and give it a really big shonk, and then they break free quite easily. And that worked on pretty much all of them actually, which was really good. They weren't too tight. Sometimes these things can obviously be really tight, and then the access is tricky. There's no way I could get any kind of socket Allen in there, because the shoulder of the actual thing you were trying to get in got in the way on the exhaust manifold or something. So only an Allen key seemed to do the job for me on these. And then once you'd cracked it, you can see it's really fiddly. You just got to kind of put it in and turn it like a quarter of a turn at a time.
which was a little bit tedious and did take some time. And of course, that's not really what you want to watch, me doing this another 23 times to get all the different bolts out. But that was the method, seemed to work pretty well. And it was basically the same method on the throttle bodies earlier in the video. But again, you don't want to see 24 of them for a total of 48, do you? So there we go. That's how we did that bit.
Forgot to film that. Taking off the cats. There's one. There's another. They're looking kind of okay. I don't know whether you'll be able to see the weigh tools in there. Oh yeah. You see it's pretty complete. This one though, you can see a bloody big hole in it there. See that? Not too useful. Still okay the other side. One of the clamps needs replacing because it's got a very chewed up thread. I mean, they look okay. And that gives me much better access to, I've got so many of these bolts out now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 1, 2. That one was very tricky without the manifold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a bolty one, 6. So I've still got quite a lot to do. Let's see how we get on. So we're getting there. We've got one left on this bank. So you can see 4 out. Most of them out, except that one. Sorry, it's quite hard to get focused on it, but it's lost it now. There it is. This one here. It's quite awkward with the angle on that one. It doesn't look so bad, but it kind of is. And then this one, there's one down here. That one, which is going to be tough. And then this one, which is a nut, as opposed to a bolt, has come undone nicely. But then, before I've got to the end of the thread, it started to come out the other side instead. And now is running into the manifold. So I'm going to have to wind that one back in. And then try and scrape out all the threads and see what happens really. Because now I've started winding out there, it might be very tough to get it back in. But let's see. But they're the 3 that are left. That one, that cheeky one down there, and that cheeky one in that corner. Good. It's one off. Should make the other one a bit more accessible now. I'm hoping. That one I showed you earlier is out enough to come out. Alright, let's get this one. Should be easy now. Sorry for that impromptu addition from my child. Bit of God's sake, bit of pink-ish kind of coolant looking thing there. It's not grand. All right, now will this come out? Is that screw out enough? Way. Oh, it's not. Yes! Training. You can see, maybe you can't see, well that is such a, well, probably, why that is such pain, because it's right underneath there. I'm not even sure it comes out. Oh yeah, just about. And it was held on there because it just came out of the block. Oh, looky there. Alright. Both manifolds off. One still with a lambda sensor still attached to it. Need to get that off. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Ooh. Thought that one was never going to come. So I think it's good to go, stripped. Still pretty clean, I think, from the last time that it was rebuilt by Power. So that was about 25,000 miles ago. Something like that, maybe 22, I don't know. But quite a few years ago. It still looks pretty clean. I mean, there's a little bit of kind of deposit there. Other than that, this side's pretty clean. And then the only other major dirty bit is around where the power steering pump was and everything, all down here. You can see how dirty that is. Just all around there. So that'll need a good clean. Which one are we even looking at? See that? In there. Not too bowled over by that. Doesn't seem to want to focus on it really, but there you go, it's a bit better. On the valve, it's not looking too pretty. Those are fine. Oh, that's better. There we go. Yeah, not too pretty that. Oh, white ones. Black ones. Black ones. White ones. White ones. White ones. Yeah, but that, I mean, it's at the bottom there as well. Sorry about the shoddy camera work, but it's not the easiest thing to get focus on really. But yeah, down there as well, yeah. Right then, fully prepped for transport. I did get the aux drive off in the end, the rest of the stuff. It's got an interesting bit of marking on it, which I'll look at later, which was probably why it wasn't sliding off quite so well. But a little bit of a puller just eased it off quite nicely down there, so that's now bare, which is good. I did try to undo the drain plug, just this one, that one there, and it just sheared my adapter off pretty quickly. Really resolute, not wanting to move, so I've just left that for now. It doesn't particularly matter. Got these two hoses off down here, they were relatively easy. So yeah, bare block. well, bare engine, not block, because obviously the block and the head and the cover and all that kind of stuff. A couple of sensors, but we'll leave them. So now I've just got to try and lift that into the CRV, maybe. Wife's CRV, back it up against the garage, get the engine crane operating, and try and drop it in the boot of the CRV, which is not going to be an easy manoeuvre, I don't think. But let's see how we get on, and then we'll go to powers. Bit of an interesting one getting this engine into the back of this car, because my in fact, let's pick you up. My engine crane can't go on the stones because then I won't be able to move it anymore. That is not necessarily low enough, so I just squeezed it past that point by lowering it. Now I can lift it a bit, so I should be able to get the engine in. I'm not sure whether there's a better way to do this, but certainly for now, this is the way that I'm doing it. All right, let's put it back. Pro camera work as always. All right, so I'm going to lift. Put a little bit of, can't see that, can you? So just put a little bit of cloth there, because that is about an inch or two from the glass, but I need to get it a little bit further in.